Data engineering teams face immense pressure to extract value from massive data sets instantly. Dashboards must update and models must refresh on schedules that leave little room for infrastructure troubleshooting. To maintain this breakneck pace, organizations are forced to rely heavily on managed cloud environments to handle their massive Spark workloads. Services like Databricks or AWS EMR promise to abstract away infrastructure complexity. Managing the underlying hardware allows engineers to focus entirely on code execution and data availability. This abstraction obscures the mechanical cost of compute. It creates a rift between the lines of code an engineer writes and the actual hardware those lines force a provider to spin up. This disconnect remains unnoticed until a billing alert arrives. A single routine deployment can cause a sudden cost spike of $47,000. When the massive bill hits, engineering priorities instantly shift. Teams abandon pipeline development to dig through Spark UI traces and cluster metrics to find the source of the overrun. These costs stem from a structural misalignment between macro-level cloud infrastructure and micro-level Spark execution behaviors. Identifying the first major cost leak requires moving past the billing dashboard and examining the physical architecture of the cluster. In a standard Databricks cluster, a single driver node coordinates the workload for a pool of worker nodes. In many high-cost clusters, the driver node is highlighted in red by the billing data. Teams often over-provision this node by 300 to 400%. They select expensive, memory-optimized instances, assuming the node requires heavy RAM. But the driver primarily coordinates jobs. Switching to a general-purpose M-series maintains performance while reducing cost by up to 6 times. Further waste occurs within autoscaling policies. Default configurations prioritize fault tolerance over cost, often keeping clusters running for 10 minutes after a job finishes. This results in organizations paying for entirely idle hardware during gaps in the schedule. Cluster pooling acts as an architectural countermeasure. By maintaining warm resource pools, jobs can claim resources instantly, eliminating the boot sequence and reducing total billable compute hours. Right-sizing the macro architecture stops idle waste, but deep optimization requires looking at how the cluster behaves when it is actually under load. To find the next inefficiency, we have to look inside a single worker node. Inside the yarn container, memory is split into the JVM heap for execution and the OS overhead for native libraries and buffers. If the JVM heap expands too far, it triggers a hard limit. This is a container breach or an out-of-memory error. The standard engineering response is a brute force hardware upgrade to ensure the pipeline stays alive. This typically involves boosting the memory overhead configuration or reducing the number of executor cores per node. Reducing concurrent tasks or expanding overhead limits trades CPU efficiency for artificial stability. The job completes, but the financial cost per job increases because the hardware is being underutilized. However, in many cases, the JVM is not the cause of the failure. During heavy shuffles, tasks fetch data over NIO channels. These channels pull memory from the OS overhead, not the JVM. Blindly increasing RAM ignores the actual system mechanics. To truly lower costs, we have to address how the code itself handles these data movements. Even right-sized infrastructure will overspend if the underlying execution code is inefficient. The 5S framework provides a diagnostic path to identify this code-level waste. First is serialization. Unoptimized data formats force the CPU to waste cycles converting objects. Using Tungsten's custom serialization, or cryo, reclaims those cycles for actual processing. Next is shuffle. When a 10 million row table joins a 1 billion row table without proper partitioning, Spark triggers a massive network redistribution. If the system broadcasts the smaller table instead, it eliminates the redistribution entirely. Removing that shuffle can cut execution costs by over 60%. Then comes skew. When a single key, like a country code, represents 80% of the data, one executor works while the others sit idle. Salting the keys redistributes that work across all nodes. Finally, spill and storage. Low memory fractions force Spark to write intermediate data to disk, causing high latency I/O. Similarly, writing thousands of small files creates overhead that can be resolved by compacting data into large Parquet blocks. Performance-aware code reduces the baseline hardware requirements for every workload. Optimizing the execution layer allows organizations to use the most aggressive cost-saving tool available, spot instances. A workload optimized for efficient shuffles and frequent checkpointing can survive node interruptions. This allows 70% of the job to run on deeply discounted preemptible hardware. This is the difference between the $47,000 architecture on the left and the optimized state on the right. Immediate budget reduction begins with two actions: dropping minimum cluster sizes to 0 for development and enforcing aggressive 2-minute auto-termination policies. Engineers must match instance families to specific workloads, using C-series for ETL and R-series for interactive analytics, to prevent the waste inherent in a one-size-fits-all approach. Effective Spark cost optimization requires a continuous engineering discipline that matches software execution mechanics to bare metal realities.